Review. Let's talk about Bloodborne. Holy Bloodborne, Batman. I got it pulled up right here in the side. So I talked about it. The last time I talked about it, I only played through the first area. I hadn't even fought the first boss. And now I've beaten the entire thing. I've got all the trophies. I did everything. This DLC is really good. And actually, furthermore, this game is so good. As you probably know, I like it. This is some of the best of Bloodborne in this DLC. Let's start with the negatives, though. Let's go negatives first. Okay, I'm on the right screen. Yeah, negatives. Now, something that I really liked that Dark Souls 1 did, and Dark Souls 2 really screwed up on, is the cohesion of the world. In Dark Souls 1, you can start at the castle, right? And then you can go through the sewers, the aqueduct. And then you get into Blight Town, and you get down to the little lake below Blight Town, and then there's a giant spider, and then there's the lava world, and then there's the stuff even below that. Like, there's this big traversal, like literal traversal of where you're going, and it makes sense as a journey, as an epic journey, and that's what Dark Souls 2 screws up. That's what Bloodborne screws up. I mean, you do explore outward a little bit, and then it's like, oh, you're gonna go into someone's brain now. I'm like, that's cool, but I really enjoyed the journey, and you could look back, and you could be at the Firelink Shrine, and you could look down and see like the roots of the trees or whatever. You can see all these things, okay? Where you've come from, where you're going, you can see it all. And it doesn't have that, and that's my big problem with this DLC. Is you start in the castle, and it's like the same castle area at the beginning of the game, and then you go into this tower, right? And this tower doesn't really make logical sense to be there. I understand this is a dream, it's a nightmare. It doesn't make sense to be there. And then you, from this tower, you step through a lighthouse, and into. We're just gonna skip ahead. You step through the lighthouse and into this fishing village. And that's fine and whatever, but it doesn't make a cohesive world in the same way that you could have this castle, and then you could exit the castle and you see this bridge, and there's a tower at the end of the bridge. And then you go to the tower, and then you go up the tower, and that's the tower that's in this. This is the area, the tower right here. And then after the tower, you exit the clock thing just the same way, and then you have staircases, and these are paved stone, cobblestone staircases down, and then it gets to like a barrier, and then you go through the barrier, and then it's like rickety, they're wood staircases. It's degrading as it goes down into the fishing hamlet, right? So these areas are connected instead of what feels like leftover pieces and parts of the main game that weren't fleshed out, and they're like, well, let's flesh these out and make them into full areas, and then they just snapped them together with crazy glue. Instead of doing that, make the world actually exist. That's what Dark Souls 1 did so well, and that's what Dark Souls 2 did not do very well, or Bloodborne do very well. And so that's the negative. The other negative is that this DLC, I feel, gets easier as it goes along. The first area is pretty difficult by the time you beat that and beat that crazy ass boss, which is the only boss I didn't solo in the DLC. After you do that, it kind of levels off. This area is pretty easy. I fought this boss once. This isn't the boss, but I fought the area boss of this place once and beat it. Never died against it. The last other 3 bosses are pretty good, but didn't take too many attempts. And the fishing hamlet is a very cool area, but it's an area I went through and died like 3 times. I mean, it's not that difficult. I'm not saying I want it to be crazy difficult, but after the first area, and after I'd heard it difficulty does ramp up, I was expecting a little more, and it's fine. It's great. It's Bloodborne. It's freaking amazing. The mechanics of the movement and you know, the visceral attacks and being able to get your health back if you get hit. It's genius. It is so good, so well done. I love the Souls games. I love Bloodborne. It's my game of the year. Hint, surprise. Um, it's just a little like, I would have liked it to be a little more difficult. I mean, this boss, I'll skip to the boss. I think the boss is right here. Yeah, this boss, I mean, I fought her maybe 6 times, and then I beat her. And I don't know, what am I expecting? Because I've played all the Souls games and beat them all more than once. So I don't know what I'm expecting. But I'm expecting it to be just a little more challenging. I mean, it's probably my fault that I did all the Chalice Dungeon stuff to get the platinum. That I have played so much of this stupid game that, I mean, I still screw up right there, did not do good, but this boss, it just feels easier. Nothing is ever going to feel like that initial playthrough of Demon Souls. And I guess that's the disappointing fact of it. Nothing's ever going to feel quite right. I was lucky there too. But it's still so good. There's still nothing like this. Nothing that, I mean, we're talking about a game where, and I've played a lot of games, as I'm sure anyone who's watching this has played a lot of games. We're talking about a game that still, when I play it, I'll see a character, an enemy, and not know what to expect. I'll see an environment and not know what to expect. And that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen with any other game series. You know, like you play, like I'm playing Fallout, and I see a building. I'm like, oh, I kind of know it's gonna be. Oh, okay, this is that. All right. There's no surprise. There's no surprise in modern games, and that's what Bloodborne and the Souls series does. With every single area, I don't know what's gonna happen. I go through to the fishing hamlet. I'm like, okay, this is a fishing hamlet, but I don't know what's gonna happen here. There's things jumping out of the sky. There's crazy demon monsters eating you whole. Like, and it still does that, and it's still so good. It's so perfect. It harkens back to the days when you were first playing games and you didn't know what to expect, and you got to the boss and you were concerned. That's what the Souls series does so well. It's nostalgic the first time through in a weird way. It's nostalgic of how games used to be, where they had surprises, where they weren't, this is the lava level, okay. Because, I mean, think about it. Dark Souls does have a lava level, and it just throws it all on its head. Like, oh yeah, this is your lava level? You're going to have to walk on lava now. You're going to be hurt the whole time. There's crazy dinosaurs over here. Then you're going to fight this boss that makes no sense and is really just a puzzle, not even a fight. It takes your expectations and it just boop, topples them like freaking Jenga. Also, this Bloodborne's amazing. The Old Hunters, great. It's $20 for about 10 hours. I played a little more because I did a lot of co-op. Co-op really shines with Bloodborne and with all the Souls games. It's great. It's great. It's great. Hey, it's great. It's great. It's also not the Game Awards because I'm an idiot and I didn't change the text. I'm not going to change it now. Dummy, 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 dummy. It's really good though. The game is at least 10 times better than my ability to change a slide text.